Hi, I'm David Scranton, and thank you for watching today's video. Why? Because today we're busting some common estate planning myths. In fact, if you think only the rich need an estate plan, well, think again. Why? Because that's one of the myths that we'll be busting today. I'm here with David Stearns, founder and president of Stearns Retirement Group, a retirement income store located outside of Athens, Georgia. David has more than 20 years of experience in the financial services industry. Dave, always my pleasure having you here on the show.
Thank you, Dave. It's good to be back with you again.
So, what are some of the most common questions you get from people who are discussing estate planning with you?
Well, probably some of the most common questions, Dave, center around do we need a will or do we need a trust? If we need a trust, why would we need a trust? Are we going to have to worry about paying the death tax? Is that going to apply to us? Some of the other questions might be around what options do our children have if they inherit accounts from us? Will they be taxed heavily? A lot of questions like those, Dave.
And those are all important questions, but at least they're engaging the conversation of estate planning. But as you know, a lot of people do the ostrich thing, right? They want to bury their head in the sand. They don't want to think about dying, so they don't even bring up the topic. So when you bring it up, for those folks, what are some of the most common excuses you hear as to why people avoid estate planning in general?
Yeah, it's easy for them to procrastinate on this one. It's kind of nebulous. It always kind of to them feels like it's further away than it is. Often if they know someone that dies, it kind of wakes them up a little bit. Sometimes they don't know what attorney to go to. They don't know the difference between an elder law attorney and just a regular attorney. They perceive that it's going to be really expensive. And these things just kind of pile up on them and they just kind of put their head in the sand, Dave, like you said, it seems.
Well, I know, though, that you've been around long enough, as I have, that you've probably seen many, many horror stories with the lives of prospective clients, or even maybe clients that didn't heed your advice about estate planning. Do you mind sharing at least a couple of those with us? Because I think that's something that our viewers really need to realize, that these are things that happen in real life.
Sure. Yeah, one is fairly recent, Dave. Part of a good estate plan also includes not only making sure your beneficiaries are done right and done tight, but also making sure you've got a healthcare power of attorney, a living will, and a financial power of attorney. So I had a lady come to me a number of years ago. She was already experiencing dementia. So her sister was with her. And the client, who was my client, gave me the financial power of attorney, which named her sister as her financial power of attorney. I never saw that lady again. She went into a facility. So I dealt with her sister over and over again. Well, it turns out that the sister, the financial power of attorney, didn't really like her nephews, i.e. my client's two beneficiaries, my client's sons. And so the good news is the ironclad financial power of attorney that was done as a part of the estate plan made it really clear that that financial power of attorney could not change those beneficiaries, which was great. And then my client died recently. And then lo and behold, the financial power of attorney tried to come in after the fact and make some changes. And then I also learned that the beneficiary designations on the accounts we had set up were also ironclad and took full effect. And those monies perfectly made their way down to my deceased client's sons, just as she had wanted all along.
And those are things that easily could have gone awry had you not been there to make sure the I's were dotted and T's are crossed.
That's right. And those estate planning documents were done properly and they held tight in that case, which was encouraging to see.
So I know you're a big proponent of financial education, and one of the mediums through which you do that is your webinars. And one of the major topics is estate planning. So can you give us just some of the major points that you like to stress when you're educating people about estate planning and the things to focus on?
Sure. Dave, we try to take the mystery away from estate planning. It's not rocket science. We try to make things clear for people so they can begin to really understand the differences between a revocable living trust and a will. We let them know that we're not the attorney, but we help them to understand these terms so they gain some confidence. We also let them know that they oftentimes have holes in their estate plan, but they can't separate their financial plans from their estate plan. I mean, think about that. If we have a wonderful estate plan in place with all the ironclad documents and the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and they run out of money because they weren't invested properly, or their beneficiaries are taxed unnecessarily, then what good is that estate plan? So we try to help them at the webinar realize you can't divorce or separate out the financial plan from the estate plan. A good estate plan takes into consideration both of those.
That's right, especially today because the estate planning thresholds are so high for estate taxes that most people don't trigger estate taxes. But if you have an IRA, the income taxes at death just got a lot worse because the Secure Act, right? They've been accelerated. So people didn't think they had a death tax problem do. It just happens to be income taxes. Yeah. So, you know, you talked about how the estate plan has to go with a good living plan, a good income plan, retirement plan. So let's talk briefly about the markets today. I know it's not our topic du jour, but, you know, are you getting more and more people today coming to you who are a little concerned because of what's been going on in the financial markets just really over the last 2.5 months?
Oh, yeah, for sure we are. People are a bit nervous about what's going on in Ukraine and what Putin's all about with increasing oil prices and the volatility we're seeing. So naturally, you know, a lot of my advice, Dave, is for them to worry about the things they can control and not stress out or worry too much about the things they can't control. There's still a lot we can control in good financial retirement planning today.
Well, and like Warren Buffett said, we talked about this last week, that when interest rates go up, it makes the value of all financial assets worth less. And that's something they can't control. But what they can control is make sure, especially if they're retired or close to retirement, that those financial assets are generating enough interest and dividends so that regardless what happens to their net worth, they have enough income to live the lifestyle they want.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The need for paychecks don't really go away, or replacement income doesn't change no matter what's going on in other parts of the world. And one of the things that we like to show them is, hey, yeah, maybe the asset values are going down because, like you said, interest rates are going up. But if you're not using all those dividends and interest, guess what? We can grow faster your future income streams. And so that's something we can control and do a lot of good research and keep them in the right places at the right time.
That's right. Final thoughts for our income generation members.
Well, hey, just keep your eye on income right now. Don't take your eye off of that ball. And if you haven't gotten your estate plan nailed, don't procrastinate any further. Get that done. It'll bring you a great peace of mind for the rest of your days, Dave. Okay. That's what I would say to your clients.
All right, David Stearns, a lot of wisdom as usual. Thanks so much for being back here with us.
Thank you, Dave. Good to be with you.
Thank you for watching today's video, 10 common mistakes about estate planning. If you enjoyed it, please click the thumbs up button to give us a like, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for new content each and every week.